This bill that we're going to take up tonight is much, much more than photo ID. It is a radical rewrite of Minnesota's election laws in at least a couple ways. First, it really does threaten the same-day voter registration system. And second, we now know, since last night, it also threatens up voting absentee by mail. Now, why is that? Well, you look at the language actually used in the bill. It now requires substantially equivalent identity and eligibility requirement. That word identity, by the way, is new. The House has never voted on that before. So it's substantially equivalent identity and eligibility requirement. And what that means to me and to many people who have looked at this in kind of a sober, detached way is that you can't, the way that we do it now just isn't substantially equivalent. So here's the real world example. When someone registers before Election Day, as Representative Kiffmeyer just finished telling you, their name goes through a series of databases, the death registry, Social Security index. It's checked against databases for criminals and felons through the Department of Corrections. All that happens before Election Day. When you register on Election Day, that simply does not happen before you're allowed to cast a vote. It doesn't happen. So no one has yet explained, at least to me, whether it be Representative Kiffmeyer or any other proponent, how it is that those two processes can be substantially equivalent. I don't understand how that can be, how a court could stretch those words to mean that those are substantially equivalent. And in terms of absentee voting by mail, it's the same principle. If you have to have substantially equivalent identity processes, then how's that going to work? Right now, when you vote by mail, absentee, which some of you may have done, you have to fill out a bunch of stuff on the envelope, including writing down an ID number for a driver's license if you have one, or the last four digits of your Social Security number if you have that, and then you write that down. But there's no way to determine whether you're not just letting your buddy fill out your ballot or whether you're writing down someone else's number, whereas when you're at the polls, it's done in an entirely different way, obviously, or will be under this bill, which is that you're showing someone an ID and they can see whether it's you or not. The point is that those two things are not substantially equivalent identity or eligibility requirements. So the question has been raised, never answered, only evaded, whether or not this has an effect at all on those two processes. And I think Minnesota voters need to know this isn't just about photo ID. This is about much, much more, and that's the problem here.